You got what I want, got what I want. You give me just one look and you know I'm good to go. You know I'm good to go.
Welcome to the show. Thank you for watching Minds of Commercial Real Estate. This is Camille Rezai. Today we have Kevin Cohen with Elevated Entitlements. Kevin, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Kevin, you and I have worked together on several projects. You're you're an engine architect that does entitlements. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my company is Elevated Entitlements. We're a land use consulting firm. We're in Westlake Village, California. We focus on land use consulting, environmental compliance, entitlement expediting services, largely in Southern California, but our reach is now Nevada, in Illinois. We're also in New Mexico doing work. And we focus helping property developers get their permits expeditiously through the municipal jurisdiction and through the entitlement review process.
Very nice. There are several, different niches that you really focus on. We were speaking about earlier. One, it was about the affordable housing and going about funding versus the federal funding, local state funding, or the consumer funding themselves, finding the banks. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how it's
going? So California is neat in that there's a lot of affordability options that are pressed down by the state and federal government. Locally in Los Angeles, there's a program called ED1, Executive Directive 1, which is passed by Mayor Karen Bass, that has incentivized developers to do 100% affordable development. And the ability to go through the entitlement process has been pushed through the city review process by not having to do a discretionary review through the planning commission or public hearing. So you can go straight to building and safety for your plans and permit approval. So we've seen ED1 projects get entitled in 3 months compared to about 2 years. And these affordable housing development projects are also funded largely by the state and federal government. There's a program called TCAC, Tax Credit Allocation Committee, where you can get funding through the federal government for 100% affordable developments and include social services within that development. So we're seeing a lot of clients taking advantage of that, and it's really incentivized housing in the California marketplace.
What are the covenants involved? And if you can explain that.
Yeah, so there's a covenant of 35 years for affordable housing, so it must be affordable for 35 years at least. So a lot of this is a long-term hold for clients. There's a lot of tax incentives involved with these development projects, and there's also social services provided. So social service help for alcohol, for domestic abuse, and things of that sort. There's also programs called Project Home Key, which is a local California initiative to bring homeless housing to California. There's a lot of opportunity to convert motel sites, so defunct motel sites, derelict sites. You were seeing it converted to homeless housing. As a natural conversion, a lot of these, one-bedroom kind of studios with a small kitchenette are being improved with a larger kitchen, improved bath, and these studios are now being provided for homeless housing. And there's also a social component to that as well. So there's funds available by the government, and they have different rounds of funding. And a lot of these are led by a nonprofit arm of a corporation. So we're currently helping companies like Hope the Mission, Alliance Strategic, Meta Housing, and others in the California marketplace.
In regards to the hotel motel one, they said that the developer needs to buy the subject property first, and then they apply for the funding.
Correct. So they will identify the site. They will work with us in determining the zoning is correct. It meets the needs of the California state program, of the Project Home Key program. We'll coordinate with the state early in the process, identify the location, help set up the application and funding, and then we'll set milestones that we need to meet the funding requirements. And then we'll work hand in hand with the city and the county to go through that development review process. So we would represent them through the entitlement review process, help secure the application with Project Home Key, and then be involved in the community outreach and ultimate public hearing of the site.
Okay. In regard to these programs, you had mentioned in prior conversations that there's a lot of deadlines that you have to meet, otherwise they don't get the appropriate funding.
Yeah. So there's deadlines, including certificate of occupancy. So actually getting you to a permit issuance, RTI. There's deadlines for grading, get to a grading point standpoint with the development, and then there's points to getting you up and running and actually having it started for a housing development. So there's different milestones that you set with the lead agency and with Project Home Key or these federal funding programs. And it's imperative that you're working with the community and with the municipality early so that these deadlines are attainable. And then our job is really to push the client, push the sub-consultants, and push the development team to meet these deadlines in a timely manner. So we help coordinate that with our team, and we've been successful in entitling over 30 projects thus far with Project Home Key, with TCAC, and these affordable housing developments in California.
Based on the projects you're seeing, based on people doing either these affordable housing or these motel, hotel projects, do you see majority of them being self-funded, a lot of them go through federal funding, or a mix of both?
Largely mix of both. I would see more federal funding involved. We are working with a lot of nonprofit organizations that are taking advantage of using their nonprofit standing to get funding through the federal government. And then there is largely another private developer involved as well, with some private capital. But it's a good 50-50, I would say, mix of private and federal funding to help get these projects online.
Got it. Well, those are more like, let's say, the government projects. And what about on the regular side, just average developer, not doing any of those, building either homes or a commercial building, a shopping center, a mixed use? How's that going?
Yeah, so what's unique with Elevate Entitlements is that we're really in the forefront of property due diligence and land use consulting. We help identify sites for clients. So with clients that come to us with a property and want to know the highest and best use of the property, what can I do here? What uses are allowed? How high can I build? What are the setbacks? What are my limitations? We do that due diligence analysis. So we prepare a preliminary due diligence memo. We do a highest and best use analysis. We can do everything from massing and modeling and designs for that client, and then help them through the entitlement process. So we do everything from commercial, industrial. We're doing a lot of mixed use development, TOD, transit-oriented development. We're also doing a lot of solar, ground-mounted and roof-mounted solar, and EV truck parking, EV charging stations. So that marketplace, especially in the renewable side, has really picked up. We're seeing a lot of movement on community solar projects, on EV charging projects, renewable projects, which has been a good source of project development while the interest rates are high on the residential side. So we're continuing to stay busy in this marketplace, and we'll see how it will change and evolve with the next upcoming year.
I wanted to go a little bit more into detail on the solar projects and the solar farms, and what are different developers doing, in the vicinities that are doing it, and if you explain that a little bit further.
So just like affordable housing, there's a program called Community Renewable Program. It's a federal funded program also through California that allows for community renewable energy solar development. So what this means is when you're building a ground-mounted solar facility, the solar being produced from that development is feeding local users. So renewable energy is going directly to the local user, not going to a major utility like SCE or San Diego Electric. So what's unique about that is users can buy into this renewable program, and these sites offer battery energy storage. So when the sun goes down, power is stored, and they can use that power. So they're 100% basically renewable, the customers. Clients of ours have identified sites. We help them gain conditional use permits, going through the environmental review process. They will have to go through California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA. So we help them through that environmental review process. Largely, sites that we've seen are mostly in Riverside County, San Bernardino County. We've done work in Imperial County, up north in Stanislaus County, Kern County. So it's really where the marketplace is for these developments. Largely, you want to be within a half mile of a substation. So you want to have an energy source. And a lot of these zones are either light agricultural zones or rural living zones, which allow solar by conditional use permit.
Got it. Any other laws in California which can help developer in today's market if they want to go through these government? Are there any other, ordinances that we can?
Yeah, the marketplace is continuing to change. So there's a lot of state opportunities and bills that we can take advantage of. There's SB 35, which is the housing program for affordable housing, which has been in effect since 2019. There's SB 9, Senate Bill 9, which allows for ADU and lot splits on the property. So you can take a single family home and build potentially 4 units on the lot. So 2 single family, 2 ADUs. There's laws such as AB 2097, which allows for no parking allowed or needed on site. So if you're doing a use classification from, let's say, a warehouse to like a dance hall, that would be intense parking that would be needed. But under AB 2097, the state and the city are saying no parking is needed at all. You're within half mile of a transit, therefore there's no need for additional parking. So that's really cost savings for the client, for the landowner, and they can maximize their building square footage based on that. So yeah, I encourage people to contact us at Elevated Entitlements and get to know more about their property, get to know more about the opportunity, what they can do as the highest and best use of their property.
If a developer owns, let's say, a couple multifamily buildings, 40 units or 35 or let's say 20 in those range, are they able to add ADUs to those, properties?
Multifamily? Yes. Yeah. So ADUs are attainable for both single family and multifamily. For multifamily, there's opportunity to convert existing space within the building to an ADU. So things like a boiler room or utility room can be converted. It will need to meet all the proper standards for ADA, for health and safety, and building code. But yes, there's opportunity to convert existing spaces within multifamily. And I've done that successfully in Los Angeles, Santa Monica, and other buildings. We've also converted parking garages or parking spaces, so carports, to additional ADUs within a multifamily. So yes, there's opportunity to take advantage of some ADU laws, both for single family and for multifamily.
Going a little bit into the medical buildings where they have a lot of restrictions, could we hit a little bit on that topic and see, what are the restrictions? How do you go about it?
Yeah.
Conversions.
So medical office has continued to be a hot market in the marketplace. As office is kind of dwindling down, medical office is still staying strong. Tenant improvements are costly, and meeting certain medical standards with OSHA and with health and safety can be rigorous. So we help clients through that entitlement review process, working with sanitation district, health departments, and proper public approvals through that process. Dentistry practices will have different standards versus a traditional medical office or someone like a gynecologist, right? So the use is dependent on what type of permits and building code standards will need to be met. And we have the ability to go through the code and understand it so that when we bring in an architect or an engineer involved, we can design in a way that meets those code requirements in the more cost-effective and efficient way.
What about the parking?
So parking, there are parking standards that need to be met for medical that are more stringent parking standards, and then also meeting ADA responsibility. We've seen clients that have struggled to meet parking requirements, specifically for a lot that may be constrained by parking or not have sufficient parking for a conversion of a traditional office to a medical office. So we've actually helped clients with shared parking programs. So we work with other uses surrounding the property to do a shared parking program. So we work on off-peak and on-peak hours. So for example, when a neighboring property is, let's say, open from 5 to 10 p.m. as a restaurant, their parking lot is underutilized during the day. So someone that is doing a medical practice like a dentistry will need that parking from 8 to 5. So we can use a shared parking program to take advantage of that additional parking. And the cities will work with these landowners and the tenant improvement to make sure it's a cohesive use to approve the shared parking program.
If you have somebody that wants to go start investing in the commercial real estate or developing, what's your advice for them?
Do your due diligence. Yeah, we have a lot of clients that buy a property not really knowing what they're getting themselves into. They find that they're in a fault line. They find there's a wetlands on the property. There's a blue line stream, and they have not done their due diligence. So I recommend call Elevated and look us up online, www.elevatedentitlements.com. Learn about us. We can help identify your needs on your property, identify any issues that come up, and kind of be proactive in understanding what issues you may face and how to resolve those issues. So we can identify those issues early in the review process before you get too far into the property development stage, and we can help identify and resolve those issues with the municipality.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for being on the show and all the information.
I appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, share any questions or comments in the comments below, and follow us on social media. I look forward to seeing you next time.
Let's get together. Let's get to having some fun. Let's do whatever. The night's looking so young. Let's get together. Let's get to having some fun. Let's get together. Let's get together. Let's get together. Let's get together.